Phil's neighborhood. Who is it?
Chris? Hey, are you Phil?
I am. How you doing?
Hey, I'm Chris. I think you want me to do the energy evaluation?
Okay, great.
Hey, perfect. You have a copy of the most recent energy bill? Or
I do, right
any
here.
electric bill from the year would be fine?
I do, right
okay,
here.
Perfect, perfect. You mind if I have a seat
Actually,
here?
have a seat. That'd be great.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. It's hot out there today.
A little bit,
Right?
a little bit.
My goodness. All right, Phil is, they told me that it was actually a lady named Joan that set the appointment. Is that your wife, I guess?
Just one moment. No, that is my wife.
Is she present?
She is. She'll be in
She
just a
is?
second.
Okay. Oh, hey! Hi, I'm Chris. Nice to meet you, Joan. All right. Did they make it clear for you folks the reason I stopped by here today?
They did.
On the phone?
Correct.
Told you I was going to do the energy review and all that stuff?
That's correct.
Okay. Always just make it clear for everybody, Phil, Joan, I don't work for the sales department. I work for advertising and promotions. My job's a little bit special and unique. I'm trying to find 4 or 5 homes in each city within each zip code that can qualify for the programs. If you do qualify, you can cut energy costs 20 to 50% without affecting your budget or taking any money out of your pocket at all.
Okay.
Now, that being said, Phil, Joan, not everybody qualifies. There's a bunch of things that have to happen first. First thing is the need. That's the point of this energy review. I'm going to do a 14-point inspection to determine the need, if any.
Okay.
If you don't have the need, there's no reason for me to stay, if this home is efficient. I'm just going to kind of pack up and go, right?
Okay.
Second, you have to have a high enough energy bill. These days, anything over $150 is considered high. Anything over $100 qualifies. Now, they told me your bills were around like $200. Is that
Just
about
over,
right?
that's correct.
We'll calculate an average here in just a minute, but
Okay.
I think you'd be okay there. Third, you have to have a job and or pay taxes. You still working,
I work
Phil?
and pay a lot of taxes. Yeah.
Pay a lot of taxes,
Okay.
Joan, as well? Okay. Hate it like the rest of us.
Correct.
Right? And fourth, you have to kind of agree to the terms of the program, Phil. Like I said, if all those things happen, you cut costs 20 to 50% without affecting your budget, taking any money out of your pocket at all. Does that seem fair enough?
Sounds great.
So first thing I'm going to do here, Phil, Joan, I'm just going to kind of start qualifying y'all. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions about this home. Just please answer as honestly as you can. Fair
Okay.
enough?
Can do.
All right, let's see here. This is Phil and Joan. And what was your last name, Phil?
Cherry, like the tree.
Cherry like the tree, okay. Let's see here. And today is the
15th, I believe.
Alright, what time is it? It's like 11. Alright, this is the electric bill here, right?
Correct.
Let's see, this one's for $214. Is that about average, Phil?
Yes, it is actually.
It is?
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you this, Phil. What was your highest power bill last year?
280.
280? Or I guess it would be all of this year, right?
Yeah, right.
So this year the highest one's been 280?
Correct.
Okay. How many of those do you think you have that are around that $275, $280 mark?
Maybe 3.
Maybe 3 bills? Okay. And what do you think the lowest bill that you had was for the year?
I'll be around 160, 165.
165?
Yes.
And how many bills would you say that you had that were, $165?
Probably around 3, the same.
Probably around 3 of those. So that's 6 months. What would you say the other 6 months are?
Right around that 200.
Right around 200?
Right.
So it seems like your average here, Phil, I mean, we can add all of this up, but it looks like your average is probably pretty close to 200.
Sounds fair.
Right? If we say 200, I mean, do you think that'd be a fair, believable, conservative figure?
Absolutely.
You think that's a little high, a little low, or you think it's right
I
around
always
200?
think it's high.
Well, you always think it's high, right? I think your average would probably be a little bit over, $200 looking at this, right?
Okay.
But we'll say $200 and be a little bit conservative. Does that seem fair?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. So we'll say $200 a month. Now, is this all electricity, or is it electricity and gas?
All electric.
It's all electric, no gas? Okay. All right, and what year was the home built here, Phil?
85.
85?
Correct.
You know the exact square footage?
Say 2750.
2750. That's actually what they had on my appointment slip. They give them all to us from the property
Okay,
appraiser.
great.
They pull them all up to the property appraiser. How long have you been in this home? Since 85 or
No, just I think right at about 9 years.
9 years? Okay, you've been here 9 years. How long do you and Joan plan on staying in the home?
Hopefully the next 15, I'd say 15 to 20.
Next, okay, you don't plan on going anywhere anytime
No.
soon, Phil. Okay, so 15 years. And how many people live in this home currently?
Joan and myself, obviously.
Just the
we
two
have-
of you?
No, we have 2 children.
2 children? Okay. Are they over 18 or under 18?
Under 18.
They are under 18, so we're going to say 4, 2 adults, 2 kids. What do y'all keep the temperature set at during the summertime on your air conditioner?
Try to stay about 76.
76? And do y'all run the heater during the winter?
Oh, yes. Not very
Around
much, being
okay.
in Florida, but
Around what temperature? 68, 70, probably somewhere in
right
there?
at about 70, yes.
Right at about 70, okay. And how many AC units is it, Phil?
Just one.
It's just one that covers the whole house, probably 5-ton?
Correct.
Okay. 1 5-ton. Digital programmable thermostat?
We actually have a digital. It's not programmable.
It's
but it is
digital, okay.
digital.
And how old is that AC? I mean, was it here when you moved in 9 years ago?
Yes,
or?
it was.
It was.
Yep.
So it's maybe, I guess you can't be 100% sure.
Right, we-
Maybe 12, 13,
I'd have to
14 years
probably
old.
look at it, but that's probably
Okay.
about right.
I can look at the manufacturer's tag out there. Most of the time I can determine
Right.
how old it is. So, but we'll say it's at least 10 plus for now. Windows and doors, have you replaced any of these windows and doors?
Haven't needed to.
You haven't needed to?
No.
Okay, so they're still original, but they're still in pretty good shape?
They work,
Seem
yes.
to be in pretty
Yeah.
good shape, okay. So these are original. And how many ceiling fans do you have throughout the house here?
5. Yeah, 5.
5 ceiling fans total. Do you run them?
Almost all the time.
I always recommend you run those fans if you're in the room.
Right.
You know, they run off very low wattage, about as much wattage as a coffee pot,
Right,
right?
right.
Run those fans, they're cheap, right? I wouldn't recommend you run it if you're not in the room,
Right, that
Phil, but
makes
if you're in the
sense,
room,
but
it's definitely going to
my
make it
kids
more
do. I
comfortable.
tell them not to
Sure.
do it.
Okay, definitely shouldn't. Alpha's insulated. We will check out the outlet covers as we go through. Is there a pool back there, Phil?
I do not have a pool.
No pool. You know, that's a lot of work.
If
Right?
I can save enough money, we can get a pool.
Sure. Well, you know, they say when you get yourself a pool, you buy yourself a job, right?
Correct, yeah.
So it's a lot of work and it's expensive,
Absolutely.
right? So, let's see here. How often would you say? Maybe I should ask Joan this one. Joan, how often would you say you run the dishwasher?
Maybe 5 times a week.
Maybe 5 a week. Okay. So not every day, but pretty close to that. Okay. Weekends, you give yourself a break.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you for the week.
And who does the laundry? Do you do it, Phil, or
No,
Joan?
I-
You,
no,
you do
John
most of the
does
laundry
that.
as
I
well?
wouldn't know what I was doing.
Okay, Joan, how much laundry would y'all say you do a week? How many loads a week?
At least 4 loads a week.
About 4 a week? Okay. And how many TVs and computers do y'all have throughout this home?
4 TVs, 2 computers.
4 TVs, 2 computers.
Correct.
You have those on power strips?
The computers are, I don't, on the main TV, so that's like 3 power strips is probably what I've got total.
Okay, so most of them you do have on power
Right.
strips. Okay. All right. Any energy efficient light bulbs? Those curly fry compact fluorescents? Or any
I'd have to
LEDs or
count
anything like
them, but I'm sure there's
Okay.
some in this house.
You've got a few.
Yeah, a few.
Okay. What do you think? Maybe 10%, 20% of the house,
Oh,
30%?
probably 20.
Probably 20. Okay. All right. We'll count them up when we do the energy review. All right, Phil. What kind of hot water heater do you have?
A big one. No, it's
Big
my-
tank,
it's
electric?
a big tank, correct. Yeah.
Okay. Nothing fancy though, right? It's just one of the old school
No,
electric
exactly.
tanks. Okay. And how old is it? Original as well,
Original
since
with
you've
that-
been
original
here.
with the
So
home.
maybe 10, 12 years old as well.
Correct.
We'll put 10 plus. Do you drain it?
Never knew I needed to, so no.
You've never drained it in 9 years?
Not at all. No, I didn't know, but no, I don't.
Okay. Believe it or not, Phil, Joan, you're actually supposed to drain these tanks every 6 months to a year. I'll show you all a little something here. You know, inside of these tanks, you've got 2 heating elements. Each of these elements are 4,500 watts. You know, this one's 4,500 watts. This one's 4,500 watts, right? Florida has some of the worst water in the nation, and that sediment content will kind of build up on these elements, and it'll build up in the bottom of this tank, right? So you've seen that little flush valve on the bottom of that tank, right?
Right.
All you have to do is hook up a hose here, cut the power off at the breaker, you know, flush this for 15 or 20 minutes until the water runs clear, right?
Okay.
In Florida, they estimate you do that every 6 months to a year, right? After 9 years, I promise you, there's so much sediment on the back of that valve, you'll probably turn the valve, nothing will happen, right? It's because it's completely corroded with
Right.
sediment content on the back. Maybe time for new water heater at this point.
Could be.
Let's see here. When's the last time you added insulation to the attic?
That was done, I believe, 5 years ago.
5 years you did re-insulate the
Right.
home? Okay, well that's a good thing. Let's see here, 5 years. You know how much is up there?
No.
5 inches, 10 inches,
If I had to guess, around 5 inches.
around 5. Okay, let's see here. Let's start with Joan on this one. Miss Joan, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is the environment to you and your family?
Say about an 8.
About an 8? You agree with that, Phil?
Sure.
8?
Yes.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it for you and your family to conserve energy and save money? What do you think on that one, Miss Joan?
Absolute a 10.
I agree.
Definitely a 10? Okay.
I agree with that.
Most people want to save money. Nobody likes throwing their money away, right? So you'd say 10 on that as well,
Correct.
Phil? Okay. All right, and how does the rising cost of electricity from your local power company make you feel? Okay, concerned, angry, or furious? You know, the rates
Angry.
keep going up.
Angry.
Angry, how do you feel about it, Joe?
Concerned.
Concerned? Okay. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, 4. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do an evaluation on the property here. But if you don't learn anything else from me here today, please know that energy equals money, right? The more energy you use, the more money you got to pay. Nobody wants to have to pay more than they should, right? Now, believe it or not, attic insulation is one of your home's most important defenses against energy loss. Unfortunately, many homes are built without adequate insulation. I've also seen this insulation settle or be affected by moisture, losing its R value over time. You know, R value stands for resistance. It resists the flow of heat and cold, right? According to the U.S. Department of Energy, since you're in zone 2, you should have an absolute minimum of R38 just to meet the government's minimum standards. You know, that's 17.4 inches of insulation. Most people fall short of that, Phil, so don't go feeling too
Apparently
bad.
we do.
And that's one of the things I'll be checking as I do the evaluation. I'll also be checking the air duct insulation and air duct integrity. Looking for kind of gaps or leaks in the seals of that ductwork. We'll be checking the ventilation. You know, it's very important to make sure your attic is properly ventilated, especially in a hot climate like Florida, right? We'll be checking the soffit vents. You know, proper soffit ventilation can prevent mold and mildew in your attic. We'll be checking the doors and the windows, the seals and integrity of both. As well as the entire AC system, thermostat, compressor, and air handler. We'll be checking the outlet covers and switch plates, make sure we don't have any leaks or anything like that in there. We'll be checking the appliances, or some of them. You should keep your refrigerator at 40 degrees, freezer at 5 degrees. That's going to keep your food fresh and power bill low. Okay. We're also going to be counting up any incandescent light bulbs as we go through the home. As you know, everything's going to CFL and LED. You know, CFL is compact fluorescent. LED is a light emitting diode, right? So I'm sure you guys have seen those out there.
Sure.
Cut.